But we're watching a battle over President Trump's financial records play out before our eyes. The president's attorneys are appealing a decision from a federal judge that upholds a congressional subpoena seeking information about Trump's finances. Yahoo Finance's Rick Newman is here to break this down with us. Rick, what are we looking at when this battle goes on? Obviously, it's each side playing back and forth. Where do you think we're headed?
This is playing out as expected. So this House panel, and there are several committees that have all different kinds of requests, but this is one that has requested records on Trump's business from his accounting firm. And of course, he said, no, I'm not willing to turn those over. So it went to the first level of court. The court sided with the House Democrats. Trump has said he's going to appeal. He almost certainly will appeal. It will probably end up at the Supreme Court, along with a lot of these other cases, which include records the House is trying to get from Deutsche Bank, one of the lenders to Trump's businesses, and also Trump's tax returns from the IRS. I think these are all going to play out in a very similar way. And the real question is, these very likely will end up at the Supreme Court. So I think, obviously, the question is, what will they think about this? But how quickly will that happen is another matter, because obviously the 2020 election is coming up in like a year and a half.
Jeff Daniels was just on MSNBC kind of laying into kind of the party line when we talk about this issue and how Republicans and Democrats kind of fall in place as you might expect over this. But I mean, is that what might need to change to see one of these sides kind of?
I mean, honestly, as a kind of constitutional issue or in the civics lesson, it's quite interesting, because we are learning in the headlines of the papers every day about the checks and balances as set up in the Constitution. The idea is that Congress, really each House of Congress in its own does have oversight authority over the executive branch, and the House is trying to exercise that authority, and it's having a lot of trouble because Trump has just said, I'm going to stonewall you all along the way. So that's why if these cases do make it to the Supreme Court, I mean, it's going to be potentially a foundational finding based on whatever the court would determine.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's very interesting.
How far can Congress go to exercise oversight authority over the executive branch?
And that's something that's not going to sway or change over time, you might not think. But when we do look at